everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Savannah and it's time for some speculation. Now I will preface this video by saying that this is of course all speculation. We have no idea what's coming, and with the help of some of my friends, Leaf, Estan, Beyond Drew TV, I was able to put together this list. I did not have a whole lot of time today, so I'm basically just going to focus on the most popular guesses from today's live stream. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, Planet Zoo or Frontier did a very special live stream today where they went exploring, making a, quote, nature documentary. So they talked about 4 different animals that they were observing, but of course didn't show us those animals. They were in 4 different locations, and that's what we're going to go through today. Now, I have kind of put a question mark here on the screen, Central Asia pack. Maybe that's really the only link that I can see between these animals. But as always, if you have any animals that I missed, any other ideas, and anything you want to input, get it down in the comment section now before we actually see what's coming. And then we can take a look and see who guessed it. But starting things off, our first environment was a temperate one. Tim was in an area just with mild weather and only needed a hoodie to stay warm, things like that. The animal that he was describing was big, burly, and heavy. He could see it eating roots, some tree bark, and then grazing on some grasses. He also described it as being fast with impactful footprints. I'm not quite sure what that means, but maybe that they were heavy enough to leave a footprint on the ground. And then last but not least, has golden to brown fur. Now, overwhelmingly, the guess for this one was the Takin. Takins, of course, being a hoofed mammal from Asia with horns like a wildebeest and a nose like a moose, a tail like a bear, and a body like a bison. The Takin looks like a character from Dr. Seuss. This large, muscular, hoofed mammal is sometimes referred to as a goat antelope because it has things in common with both goats and antelope. But the Takin is most closely related to sheep and to the goat-like aoudad, I think I said that right, of North Africa. Because of their large, powerful bodies and impressive horns, Takins have a few natural enemies other than bears, wolves, leopards, and dholes. They are generally slow-moving, but can react quickly if angered or frightened. When needed, Takins can leap nimbly from rock to rock. If they sense danger, Takins warn others with a loud cough that sends the herd running for cover in the dense underbrush, where they lie low to avoid being seen. Takins can also make an intimidating roar or bellow. They look a bit silly as they do this with their mouths open and tongues sticking out, but don't be fooled. Wildlife care specialists know that their space should be respected and never enter the habitats with the Takins. This is information coming from the San Diego Zoo, so it sounds like they are a no contact species. They don't actually go in there to take care of them, or they work with them protected contact, where they probably shift them into back holding in order to clean their exhibit and then shift them back out onto exhibit when everything is clean, feeders are filled, things like that. So it's a little bit about the Takin, and they are correct. Funny looking, silly animals. There are a few different species of Takin to my understanding, and the community was guessing maybe golden Takin, just because of the golden kind of brown fur that Tim described. But let me know what you think. I would be happy to get these guys in the game. I will say that there are no animals on this list that have me over the moon excited because there's not a secretary bird on this list. But I'm not really over the moon excited about any of them, but kind of mildly excited about all of them, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always excited for Planet Zoo DLC, but none of these animals really stick out to me as a must-have and can't wait to get them, that kind of thing. And of course, you might be different. Let me know, of course. Moving on to our next environment, Tim went to a very cold, frigid environment and described an animal that lives all by itself. is a carnivore that eats carcasses, so some type of scavenger, is very ferocious, and was seen scaling a cliff, and lastly has a big bushy tail and coarse hair that keeps them warm in such a cold environment. Now, this could be a lot of different things. I couldn't come up with a guess with this one, but the community seems to overwhelmingly think that this is going to be the Wolverine. Wolverine is a powerful animal that resembles a small bear, but is actually the largest member of the weasel family. These tough animals are solitary, and they need a lot of room to roam. Individual wolverines may travel 15 miles in a day in search of food. Because these habitat requirements, wolverines frequent remote boreal forests, taigas, and tundras in northern latitudes of Europe, Asia, and North America. So again, an animal that is found in the Asia region, which would fit a kind of Central Asia pack. And really the only reason that I'm calling it Central Asia pack is because we already have like East Asia stuff, and we had the South Asia animal pack, if I'm right. So I'm just kind of picking a different area of the Asian country, if that makes sense. I don't really have an attachment to if it is a central, south, east, west, whatever it is. These animals are just all from Asia. Although wolverines do eat a bit of vegetarian fare, like plants and berries in the summer season, this does not make up the major part of their diet. They are tenacious predators with a taste for meat. Wolverines easily dispatch smaller prey such as rabbits and rodents, but may even attack animals many times their size, such as caribou, if the prey appears to be weak or injured. These opportunistic eaters also feed on carrion, the corpses of larger mammals, so carcasses and their scavengers, things like that. These carcasses include larger mammals like elk, deer, and caribou. Such finds sustain them in winter when other prey may be thinner on the ground, though they have also been known to dig into burrows and eat hibernating mammals. So I think that 100% covers our lives alone, is a carnivore that scavenge. They are very ferocious. Seen scaling a cliff? Sure, I'm sure a wolverine could jump up onto a cliff or climb it. And then they do have big bushy tails and coarse hair that keeps them warm in the winter months. So I do think Wolverine hits all of those different things. Moving to our next environment, Tim was now in a much warmer, desert-looking grassland type environment. And the animal that he was describing was pretty interesting sounding. He described it as having unique characteristics and living in large groups. Said it had a bulging nose and pointy horns, as well as spindly legs, and is very fast. He also described it as grazing in a herd on different grasses and shrubs. This sounds like any hoofstock animal to me, basically. I mean, the unique characteristics, the bulging nose and pointy horns, is really the defining characteristic of what is going to lead us to guess what this animal is, right? Everything else sounds like it could be just any other gazelle, antelope, hoofstock on an open grassy field. But the bulging nose is what led the community to guess that this is a Saiga antelope. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it's big, it's bulbous, and it's a pretty nifty adaptation. The remarkable proboscis-like Saiga nose drapes over the mouth and points downwards. The bones on the inside of the nose are complex and convoluted, and the nasal openings are lined with hairs, glands, and mucus tracts. Each nostril is a sac lined with mucus membranes. This mysterious muzzle may help the Saiga warm up inhaled frigid winter air and filter out dust during the arid summer months. Not surprisingly, the saiga has a keen sense of smell. Herds of saiga feast on grass, herbs, and lichens and low-growing shrubs. In the summer months, they feed in morning and evening and rest at midday. Newborn saigas begin to graze at 4 to 8 days old and are fully weaned from their parents, so not feeding from their parents anymore, at 4 months of age. And I have to hand it to the community. This one sounds pretty spot on as well. And I would be pretty excited. Yes, it is another hoofstock, but it's a weird one. And I would be very interested to see what Frontier does with that schnoz of theirs. The horns and everything about it is pretty cool. I'd love to hear special noises from them. I don't know what these animals sound like, but yeah, there you go. That is the Saiga Antelope, and sounds pretty spot on to me. And of course, saigas are found in Central Asia, so they would match this kind of a region pack that we're going with, at least in my guess. So check mark on that as well, that they fit the region that we're guessing. Moving to our fourth and final location, we were in another what looked to still be temperate, but a little bit warmer, I think they were describing, saying that they were seeing an animal that carries its young on their back, has very long and sharp claws. These claws are used as culinary utensils, meaning that they eat with their claws, they eat their food with their claws, and then that they saw them eating from termite mounds, and that this animal has black and shaggy fur. Again, this one seems like it's an easy guess once you kind of know what it's talking about, and the community overwhelmingly is guessing the sloth bear. Sloth bears are a bit misleading by name. They're not related to sloths, and they are not slow moving. In fact, they're agile bears that can run faster than a human and will attack if surprised. It was a European zoologist, George Shaw, who named the sloth bear for its long, thick claws and unusual teeth. He thought the bear was related to the tree sloth due to those features. The sloth bear is a bit messy in appearance, which would match the kind of long, shaggy fur that they were talking about. The pale muzzle and flexible nose sniff out interesting smells. The sloth bear often has a white patch of fur on its chest in the shape of a Y, O, or U. With a stocky body and powerful legs, this medium-sized bear is able to climb trees. The sloth bear cannot pull its claws in like a cat's, so it looks a bit awkward when walking. Sloth bears are also the only bears to routinely carry their young on their backs as a primary mode of transportation for them. So again, it looks like we kind of hit all those points. Black and shaggy fur, kind of a messy, disheveled appearance. Eats from a termite mound. These guys do eat termites. They would use their claws to get those termites out from the termite mound. Of course, long, sharp claws as well. And then they carry their young on their back, which sounds like, obviously, if they are the only bear to do this, a pretty defining characteristic of the sloth bear. As far as an exhibit animal, if we are thinking that this is going to be a normal scenery pack with 4 habitat animals and an exhibit animal, I have no idea. There are a lot of bats in Asia. I'm hoping that we don't get a third bat added to the game. But it could be. Let me know what your guesses are down below. I have not had time to put a lot of thought into making an official guess, so I'm just going to sit and wait and see what happens. But do let me know what you think. And then, of course, if we are getting a normal scenery pack, Central Asia being the theme that I'm guessing, we would get some more Asia-inspired architectural pieces, which I don't know how I necessarily feel about that. We do have a pretty well fleshed out Asia section of Planet Zoo as far as pieces go. But let me know what you think. What kind of style or things like that could possibly go with this. And overall, just thoughts, comments, feedback down in that comment section. Of course, do leave the video a like if you've made it this far. And if you'd be interested in any future Planet Zoo content, it's the best way to make sure that you don't miss out, as well as hitting that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow with an official announcement. Bye!